cigarette. And like, I kind of joke with people when they're like, oh, what do you listen to? I'm like, okay, well, today it's a learning day. Because like, I'll listen to Joe Rogan to learn about things.
Well, and the thing about Joe Rogan is he uploads like randomly.
Right.
It's not like a specific day every week.
Which is awesome, because then it's like you kind of run out of your stuff to listen to for the week, and then you always know that he has a nice array of episodes.
He's always doing so many a week. It's just crazy.
Right. It's a full-time job.
Well, and it's something that, I mean, I had a conversation with Dakota the other day. This was probably a week ago on the phone. And he started talking about, so Dakota went through firefighter EMT training. And one thing that I think a lot of people give him, underestimate how smart some of these like celebrity or like higher involved social people are. Like Dakota just started talking about like heart failure, and if depending on what type of heart failure, how it's caused. Like we were having a conversation about that, and I just stopped him and I was like,
how do you know this?
So smart. No, it was you're just so smart.
Yeah.
And he was like squinting at me, and I was like, you went through EMT training, like crash course, by the way, not even the full course, crash course. And you can just pull that out of your back pocket like a doctor. And like Joe Rogan does stuff like that all the time on his podcast. And like I remember he had Miley Cyrus on. Yeah. And she was talking about she revealed that she had a traumatic brain injury when she was like 2 and talked about her brain scans and all of these things. And I had to stop myself and be like, you were like the snot-nosed kid on like Hannah Montana. Yeah. And I never saw you as something more. Yeah. But it's like these people are so smart, and it's amazing how Joe can pull that out of them.
Yeah,
that's cool.
You get a completely different perspective on the Joe Rogan podcast of people you know about and might not necessarily know their whole story. Yeah.
Right. You might not really know who they really are, and he has the ability to get people to share that.
And that's why like he should have done the debates, you know?
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Well, it's funny. Do you guys, I don't know if you guys, do you watch Drinking Bros, where they did the whole live?
I've never seen it.
I've seen it. I've seen a few, but not that episode, no.
So last week during the election, they did a live event where they were talking about like the episode's like 5 hours, 6 hours long of them talking about.
Well, those guys are also so smart, like Dakota.
Well, and that's exactly. Well, and it's funny. I've gotten to know some of them personally because Dakota's on their podcast every now and then, and it's funny to hear. Like you just said, how intelligent they are and how well versed they are in political things, current events. That like, I mean, Kanye West, as much as people can talk about him negatively, hearing him talk as just a normal person yesterday with Joe Rogan really put me into perspective of he's not this like crazy entertainer. Yeah. Like he's an actual just like person.
Yeah. It's just insane. The amount of people he's interviewed. And I want to say something about Dakota's new podcast. I love it.
Yes. Oh, awesome. I'm glad. That was one thing when he was like, you know, the beginning stages of that podcast. Dan Holloway, who is his co-host, they are like, it's so funny to me. They're like yin and yang. Like Dan is so calm and like subdued and very to the point, which is exactly how he is in the podcast, is how he is in real life. And Dakota is like high energy, like has all of these like thoughts and things, and having them, they're like the best co-host together.
Oh yeah,
that's cool. And having them go off of each other. Dan kind of controls the chaos of Dakota's like insane mind. And it's funny, I was talking to one of the people who helps do the production of the show. And she did Front for the Enemy when Dakota did that by himself with guests. Yeah. And we were talking, she was like, this is what he was missing. He was missing the Dan to be his co-host, to, you know, be his soundboard, and to be that person with him doing it. And they have gotten such positive reviews.
That's great.
It is amazing.
Well, like,
it's absolutely amazing.
Another podcast I listened to is This Past Weekend, and with Theo Vaughn, and he does it by himself like 90% of the time.
That's hard. That's hard.
Yeah, just to have something to talk to, you're basically talking to yourself, and it's just, I've tried to record some stuff on my own, and it's completely different.
It is. So
well, and that's one thing with I listened to Christina P, where your mom's at, and most of the time she does have guests, but most of the time it's just her talking to like the producers or like doing follow-up things and just kind of just talking to the camera. And I personally like listening to her, and there's another person who does that as well, because it's like, I don't know how other listeners think about it, but I feel like she's like having a conversation with you as just a person.
Yeah.
And it kind of humanizes the whole process of podcasting, especially since a lot of like I listen to it in the car to and from work, in the AirPods at my desk, and it kind of helps you have like an actual rapport and like conversation with someone instead of just listening to an interview.
Yeah.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'd have to say my favorite podcast though is Iron Will.
Yeah.
Because it's just going to get better and better.
Oh yeah. Well, this was a really good episode because it was different than our normal like episode.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is kind of where we want to be on some of the podcasts.
Yeah, we want to have some diversity where it's not always only about people overcoming
hearing
challenges,
a depressing story from someone, and then
how they got out of it. I mean, it's inspiring at the end. Always, you know, like they made their way out of the challenges and trials that they came up with, and that's very important for other people to hear, and for the people themselves to share. But at the same time, we do want to have some more podcasts like this where we can
we're just talking about random shit.
And if you guys want, if you want science stuff, if you guys want nutrition, health, exercise,
just let us know.
Let us know. I can talk for hours.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff.
Well, and that's definitely how, I mean, the ones that I listen to have been, I think, around, I figured like 10, 12, you know, like big amount of years that they've grown and to be able to just kind of do whatever they want.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's how you grow your fan base.
Yep.
Is like, hey, maybe they don't want to listen to this episode, but you know, the next one they might be really interested in because you're talking about the science stuff, or you know, whatever it is. Like that's how you pull different minds together. Is like having a different variety of things.
And how you get people to listen to that is, I don't know. It's marketing is not my specialty.
We can figure that out. Yeah. I have a buddy. I can figure that out.
Well, I think it's one of those things, at least for what y'all are doing now, there's so many podcasts out there. There's so many podcasts trying to be other podcasts, trying to be the Joe Rogan or trying to be the Jocko, that it's, I think, something that you guys are at least just like sticking to, trying to be yourself is pretty authentic. And I, at least in today's world where so many people are wearing masks, that it's just you guys are showing up and unapologetically yourselves. That is refreshing.
That's right.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. And
thank you. We'll keep doing that.
Yeah. We'll try.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing very well at it so far. So you're doing a pretty good job.
Okay.
Well, it's been great having you on the podcast again.
Yes, thank you again. I love it.
Yeah.
So
and we
a reminder.
Thank you again for helping out.
Oh
with
yeah.
Everything with
you were such a big help for us.
Great.
Oh, Well, and it was such a joy. Like, I mean, the original, episode, I talked about how I've done so many different races.
Yeah.
But actually getting to be a part of like the planning of one for a change was a really nice change of pace, and gave me, like I said, a appreciation for the ones that I've done.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah. The amount of work that goes into something like this. I didn't know. I had no plan. I had no rhyme or reason of what was going to happen, but luckily it turned out. Yeah, luckily we got the right people involved, and I think it was a big success. So yeah.
So
well, I look forward to the next event or whatever you guys are planning in the future. I can't wait to see what y'all are up to.
Yeah,
we'll definitely be in touch. And just a reminder to everybody out there, we are going to do a whole podcast on or one of our episodes just on Q&A, questions for Shane, questions from me. And you guys, it can be about anything. It can be about our life stories. It can be about health and nutrition if you want to ask me stuff like that.
About what?
It can be about baseball because Shane loves baseball. So, it can be about anything just to get to know us a little bit more and who we really are, and hopefully we can inspire people at the same time. So stay tuned for that, and we'll let you know where you can email your questions.
Okay, yeah.
So other than that, please share this episode and invite people to subscribe.
Yep.
So
let's get it out there and get people listening. Okay, Mandy.
All right, Mandy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you later.
Okay, take care.